Good evening. Good evening, friends. How are you doing on this very, very rainy Monday, anyway, here in the UK? So, I am sharing a message that just came out of a conversation I just had over in my private membership group, Divine Money, Magic, and More Club. And I just wanted to come on here and share it with you because it was such a relevant one. So, as you know, 2022, I'm already in 2023 partly, so I've been thinking about the next year. So 2022 has been an energy of much change for so many of us, and really it's come off the back of the last 2 years, right, of absolute change and chaos and madness in the world. And so, what a lot of people are feeling right now this year is things that maybe fit before don't quite fit now. And this could be in your life, your personal life, relationships, business, work, creativity, all sorts of areas, even in the movies that you watch and the music that you listen to and the food that you eat. We're changing so much. So one of the messages that came through, and we were talking about this in the group, was that sometimes when you go through these changes, the energy can feel really wobbly and just very, very unstable. So unstable isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's just this kind of wobbly, kind of like fluid energy, so that it doesn't always feel steady, and you might find yourself changing your mind about things. So I've had a few people talking to me about this where they've berated themselves, for example, around being flaky or non-committal, and all of these kind of things that we term and we label as being like negative traits, right? But I just want to give you almost like the green light, if you need this right now, to give yourself absolute permission, and to remind yourself that it's absolutely okay for you to change your mind. So sometimes we have a whole load of people in this world who, because they've said they're going to do something, and it's a very honorable thing sometimes where, we want to be a man of our word, a woman of our word, and we want to do what we said we were going to do, which is very, it's a positive as well, because we want to be, we want to mean what we say. But sometimes when that's taken too far, we have a lot of people in the human race who are doing things in the world, in their lives, in their businesses, in their family, whatever area, they're doing things that they really don't want to do, and that they're not aligned anymore. Maybe they never were, or maybe they were and they've outgrown them. So this is just a beautiful green light in case you need to really receive this message right now. And I fully trust this message is going to land on you, if this is one that you need to hear right now and receive, that it's absolutely okay to change your mind. What if you make it okay to change your mind? Can you imagine if we never changed our mind? We went on a date, we dated someone for a few dates, and then we decided we're going to be in a relationship, and then maybe a few weeks after that we saw another side to that person, and then we realized, this is not the person for us. What if we didn't allow ourselves to change our mind? We just stay in the relationship and then end up being with them forever. That probably happens with some people. Maybe it's happened to you before, or maybe you're even going through it now. But imagine if you apply that to things that we do every day. Just because we said we were going to do it, um, we make ourselves stick to it. So obviously use your discernment, use your discretion with this. But I just want to give you this encouragement, because when you're a good, sensitive, conscious person that you are, most likely you'll find that you maybe force yourself more than not. So especially if you're someone who really likes to stick to their word, and I do. So there are lots of things that if I say I'm going to do it, I want to create this thing inside of me that if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, right? And I really do mean it when I say it. But what I do also allow myself these days is, if when later, if I was to come back to it, and I'm in a different place and I've shifted and I've grown, and maybe the thing I did before, or the way that I was going to do something before, doesn't feel okay, I continuously change my mind. So I just want to share that with you, because sometimes we get ourselves really stuck because we say, well, we tell ourselves, well, we said we are going to do this. There's no way out now. Nothing's set in stone. And there's always a way to adapt and shift. And it may be that you even look at maybe doing the thing in a slightly different way. But especially if you're someone like me and you're in a creative kind of business, entrepreneurial, and you're creating things as well, this could look like that for you in these areas, that it's okay to change your mind about programs, services, offerings, prices, what it might look like, how you might do it. Of course, you're going to honor your commitments and things that are important, but we don't talk about this enough, I think. And there's a lot of emphasis on doing what we say, pushing through, but I'm a big advocate for it is okay to change your mind. You are okay even if you mess up and you screw up something and it's inconvenient. A lot of us don't want to take up too much space. A lot of us feel like we're putting people out. That's an energy, or that we are, we're apologetic somehow, and actually, if we step into that power of who we are and know that no, we're not, we are here and we're valid, and it's okay to change our minds. It's okay to shift direction. And actually, what can help you with this? So you lessen maybe the need to do it a lot, because you don't, of course, you don't want to be a flaky, completely non-committal person. But how I do it is, now I decide, this is a real shift I made this year, um, about when I make decisions on something. So I always knew, maybe you know this as well, generally I wouldn't make a decision if I'm feeling very like upset or exhausted or not in my good version of me, and I need some rest or something. I would know not to make a decision. But what I hadn't realized before was also, for me as an emotional being, which I am, it's actually not helpful for me to make a decision when I'm in a really, really great, amazing, magical state, because sometimes when I'm in that heightened state, it can feel like an absolute yes. And then when I've slept on it and I've kind of gone through that emotional wave and I'm a bit more balanced and I'm a bit more just in a slightly different energy, maybe I can start to feel into, "Oh, okay, I like the idea, but not as much as I did in that massive emotional wave," and I can make a more balanced decision. And I realized, since I started doing it that way as well, not making decisions on the most magical place I could be, it helped, because what it means is I don't say yes to as many things, and then when I do say yes to things, it's from a much more aligned, balanced place. So then there are many less now occasions where I would have to then change my mind. However, I give myself massive permission to absolutely change my mind on things. And I think that's a real takes some courage to be able to do that. It takes loving yourself to be able to do that and stand by it. And I find that it never really leads me in a direction that's not for my benefit. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know how you feel. Do you make decisions? Maybe you're like me, you've made decisions in the past when you're feeling super amazing, and then you kind of feel like you can't really get out of it later, and you kind of get yourself a bit stuck, because this is such a phenomena. So know that it's okay. It's okay to change your mind, and we're different. We have seasons, we have cycles, we have energy ebbs and flows. We're going to feel different at different times. So the more that you feel this, the more that you're connected to yourself, you're going to know this more and more about yourself. So let's get out of this kind of rigid thinking, and we want to balance being, honorable, people of our word, reliable, and all of those good traits, because we want to be in those ways, but also really, really honoring ourselves. And if you need to change your mind on something, you are free to do that. And it brings up a lot for a lot of people, because if let's think about, if you want to people please, that's not going to feel okay for you to change your mind. If you're uncomfortable taking up some space, you're not going to want to inconvenience anyone. So it's going to maybe look like you're doing things in life to really please other people and not yourself. So it brings up a whole load. So I know this can stir up a few different things, but it's just something to think about, because most of us know that, about committing and pushing through and all of those things. Like, yes, we know that, but actually we can move in other directions as well. So it's a big one, a juicy one. Let me know your thoughts, if any. Feel free to comment below, and I'll check back in later. Whenever you're watching this, might be some time from now this message finds you, but it is okay. And the energies right now are so changeable. Sometimes we do have to be a bit changeable with that, and it might look a bit like we're zigzagging a little bit until we find a bit more of a baseline, that we can be a bit more stable and know what we want. But until then, it is a good thing sometimes to be a bit more experimental, change and shift and experiment and try things out, change your mind about things, kind of release the rigidness and just get into a bit more of an ease and flow. And it does require a bit of experimentation sometimes, which can bring up a lot of uncomfortable feelings, because a lot of us have been taught how to behave ourselves and not rock the boat and do as we're told, which is a whole energy that we get to release. Okay, so I send you so much love. I hope that this has helped you shift something where it needs to be shifted. Probably more to be said on this, absolutely, but I'll leave it there for now. And I send you lots of love. And tomorrow is my 50th daily live stream, which I cannot believe. So I'm going to be doing something. I don't know what time yet, but I'll share that tomorrow. But I'll do maybe more of an extended live stream session of some kind, because I'll just sort of celebrate and mark that. And we've got a full moon on the same day, so I'll definitely think of what to do for that session. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching the replay. Yes, and I send you lots of love. So something to think about, right? Okay to change your mind. Absolutely.